James Mennie at the Montreal Gazette. Going to talk about a couple of things. I want to start with this Mark Carney. Well, you heard it on the news, right? About
Yeah.
the Gordie Howe Bridge. We're going to replay the interview I did yesterday with someone from the Windsor Tourism Commission. Oh, we're not doing that today. Sorry. I ran that interview yesterday. It seems to me,
Yeah.
Jim, there's more unknown, even though we know what's going on, than there was before.
Okay. This is a deal that dates back to like 2013. It was originally hammered out between the Harper government and the Michigan state government. Even then, a guy with the unlikely name of Manny Maroon was screaming bloody blue murder because why? Because his family operates the Ambassador Bridge, and he said, this is going to cut into my profits. He has opposed it from day one. Well, here's the thing. It looks like everything's proceeding at pace. The Obama administration signed off on it, even though it's a bit odd that a federal government would be cutting a deal with the state government. Long story short, everything is going fine. Then, apparently, after making $1 million contribution to the political war chest of Donald Trump, Mr. Maroon, I guess, got the president's ear, or at least was able to rent it for a while. And essentially, here's Donald Trump. No, this is, we got to redo it like he always does. Whatever agreement is there, he just takes and shreds. And even though he's supposed to be this big business, he's a punk. But he takes it, he shreds the deal, and he says, we're going to have to renegotiate and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So there's two stories going on here. One is, another day at the office of Donald Trump, who is, he'll look at an international agreement and then, try to eat it. And then there's the other story as well, because in my line of work and in this country, we like to cut down the highest poppies first. So when you've got Mark Carney, who's like, getting these absolutely absurd numbers in the polls, rightly or wrongly, the idea is to go after him. And this has been an opportunity for some newsrooms to go after him, say, listen, what happened here? Why are you caving to the Americans? And the fact of the matter is, even the deal they have now, which the Prime Minister said today, the Americans aren't going to see any money until the operational expenses and the debt for the bridge is paid. Until this thing is paid for, they're not going to see a dime. But you know what, Aaron? Tomorrow morning, Donald Trump can tweet that he's got a different version of the deal now, and this is what's going to happen. Right. And also, by the way, lest we forget, this was supposed to increase trade between the U.S. and Canada, so maybe he'll just throw some icing on the cake and say, I'm going to be slapping a 200% tariff on whatever, on any vehicle that comes across the Gordie Howe Bridge.
Yeah, there is that.
Although I may be going off on a bit of a limb here, Aaron, because I don't know if you've been following this. We mentioned this yesterday on the show, but Trump's going on national TV tonight. And the latest rumor, and there have been a lot of crazy rumors about what he's going to say, the latest rumor, the People's Republic of China interfered in the last election. So does that mean he gets an extra go at the can? Does that mean he can cancel midterms?
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, but here you go. This is where we are. So excuse me, even if Mark Carney is stammering and trying to make sense of this, I'm not going to bat for the guy, because honestly, this was an open flank as far as I'm concerned when you're dealing with the likes of Donald Trump and the people in his government. But here we are, and this is what we're dealing with. So I don't know. I really don't know where it's going to take us. I really don't know at this point. I know there's a lot of uncertainty. All the markets, for the time being, seem to be doing okay. But God knows, this guy's going to melt off tonight. And guess what? You and I are talking about something we never even thought we'd be talking about tomorrow. Simply because why? Because Donald Trump maybe had a vivid dream, or they changed the dosage on his meds. Who knows? But that's where we are right here and right now.
Let me move on and talk about Antoine Dionne-Charest, who I'd not heard. What, is something going on here? Because the last time he was here.
Something kind of strange there, Aaron, because, on the surface, there's nothing remarkable. He is the son of former Premier Jean Charest. He is running as a Quebec Liberal candidate in the riding of Verdun.
Right.
But, okay, never mind the pedigree. The guy's a rookie candidate, right? Okay?
Yeah.
Here he is on Tube Radio, basically, patrolling points, going after PSPP, the PQ, going after referendums, going after sovereignty, saying as how the apparent government in waiting would be a disaster for Quebec, because if you think Donald Trump doesn't care about the sovereignty of Canada, please don't think he's going to spend much more time worrying about us. It's remarkable, Aaron, in all of this. This is not his job. At least, I mean, in the years I've spent covering elections, this is a script that is handed to the leader of the party, because this is supposed to be part of your mainstay, part of your main platform. It's like, this is what these guys are going to do. And yes, they are going to campaign negatively. So my question is, was Charles Milliard on vacation? Was he unavailable? It was on Cube TV, Cube Radio, and on 98.5. So it wasn't like some third-tier media outlet. This was for real stuff. It was in French. And I just found it very intriguing. Although, as we know from having heard him on the show, he is very well spoken. Yeah. He has like his dad. I mean, he's got a real way with the phrase. He's very, very sharp. And honestly, he basically walked up one side of Paul Saint-Pierre-Plamondon and down the other, and worried, sort of in the same sentence, that perhaps politics are becoming more extreme because people are getting turned off. So all you had left were the extremists who go to the polls. But the bottom line here is, I'm intrigued to see him playing this role.
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, is this the start of something, or is this maybe filling in on vacation? Who knows? But as I say, I think anybody who pays attention to this kind of thing could not help but notice. Here's a rookie candidate, essentially, singing the main showstopper for the show.
Well, as you're saying this, Jim, I'm thinking to myself, maybe this is, after the party getting together and deciding finally we need to have sort of a unified stand here, and that stand should be calling out PSPP. Maybe this is the rule book that was sent out to all the candidates.
Well, we'll see. But right now, if I'm talking to you about Monsieur Dionne-Charest, it's simply because I haven't heard from anyone else.
Well, I guess
the rest of the party, and maybe they will, maybe down the road. But I got to tell you, this one hit right amidships.
Okay.
It wasn't the usual kind of, we're nationalists and federalists and regionalists. No, this is why you shouldn't vote for these guys, because they're going to blow us all up, which is not the thing we've been hearing thus far from the Quebec Liberal Party.
So, speaking of the Quebec Liberal Party, you have a note here about the number of them. What's this about? So
it turns out that La Presse, God love them, they report that a candidate whose name I don't have in front of me right now. But anyway, she is a candidate for the Quebec Liberal Party, and it turns out that, she in fact was looking to run for the PQ. And in fact, she donated to the PQ and so on and so forth. And in reaction to that story, and I guess in some sort of proactive way, as the Liberals want to put it, they hand out pedigrees. There are apparently 11 other candidates who supported other parties, i.e. the PQ or the CAC or whatever. And my question is, listen, it's a free country. You can change your mind and do whatever. But ask ourselves this question. I don't know if the slate has been completed. I know it's going to be, as I understand it, with the overriding of the Quebec Electoral Commission by the National Assembly, we're going to have 127 seats to fill in this election. I don't know if the entire Liberal slate has been filled, but holy moly, is it that tough to find, how can I put it, pristine candidates, politically pristine candidates who have not supported, who are just Liberals or who are there and have believed in the product from day one? Or is this what we've been reduced to here in 2026 in Quebec after 8 years of the CAC? It's going to be very, very interesting to see. And as I say, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the Liberals are going to turn this campaign around. But as I say, between the rather impressive appearance of Mr. Dionne-Charest and this story, I don't know. I just hope that Charles Milliard, you know what? I really got a bad feeling as well. He's waiting until after the construction holidays to do something. Because it's still 1984 and everything is based on those 2 weeks that everyone's still aware. There's something called the internet. We're plugged in 24/7. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I got to tell you, Aaron, I'm just getting this completely weird vibe and directionless vibe so far from the Quebec Liberal Party.
Jim, do you think if they did a deep dive into all the other provincial parties, political parties, that they would find others who have run for other parties? Do you think this is unique to the Liberals?
It's entirely possible, but you know what? They didn't turn around. They haven't volunteered that information, whereas the Liberals have. Mm-hmm. And once again, it brings me back to my other question / critique. who in the hell's in charge over there? Yeah. Who's running this campaign? And are they any good at it? And do we have a fallback that we can break the glass and pull this switch and change the team and make sure we have people who are focused? I get the impression the Quebec Liberal Party has been shell-shocked since 2018, since it got its butt kicked by the CAQ, and it never really recovered from that. It's been doing a lot of infighting and whatever, and it is a mere shadow of what it used to be, and certainly in terms of its organization, its presence on the ground. I'm getting a bad feeling about that. I hope that Mr. Milliard and company will prove me wrong, but right now, c'est pas promettant, pantoute.
James Mennie over at the Montreal Gazette. Jim, thank you so much. I'm not going to talk to you until I get back from vacation, so have a
you're going on
good
vacation?
summer.
You're not on tomorrow?
No, sir.
Get out of town.
Yeah,
I heard you're doing the whole, my dad used to cruise up there.
In Norway?
Except it was, actually he used to cruise up there in a destroyer, and he'd go a little further north to a place called Murmansk in Russia. Yeah. And the difference, thank God, is that they were shooting at my dad.
Right.
Okay. But I'm sure you and Val will have a great time.
Yeah. We were told there'd be no shooting on this trip by any foreign nation.
Yeah, it pays extra. You have to pay extra for that.
Have a good summer, pal.
Hello, Canada.
This is Bryan Adams Radio. Hosted by Bryan Adams himself.
We'll play a few of mine, a ton of my favorites, and some must-hear behind-the-scenes stories from the world of rock and roll. One thing about doing rock and roll so long is you end up meeting a lot of the people that you admire. Sometimes you even get to work with them.
It's only love, and that's all. Bryan Adams Radio. I'm coming back to you. Now available on the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey everybody, how are you tonight? Sounds great.